A warm welcome to you. Let me know in the chat, where are you viewing from? I'd love to know if it's early in the morning or like me here in New York. It's 7 o'clock. It's cocktail hour. So do let me know where you're looking in from. Also, please let me know if you're a salon owner, if you're an independent, if you're a student. So hi, Lino. Hi, Eric, Ingrid. Tim, oh wow, Tim, so lovely to see you. Village Salon, great. Montreal, Lino's in Montreal, Vancouver. So thank you so much, guys, for spending your time with me. So wherever you are looking in, this is being recorded. And should you stay till the end, you'll be able to get a copy of this recording. Hi, Gina. Good to see you here as well. So I have a very special guest who I'm going to be introducing you to a little bit later on. But why don't we just dive straight into our subject, because that's why you've all shown up today. And my mission is to really be able to add value as we go on our journey. So let's dive into our subject. How to become the hairdresser you've always wanted to be. And I wonder what that is for you. Again, let me know in the chat. What has been your biggest dream? Why did you get into this industry? Are you close to that goal, or have you kind of lost a little bit of your momentum on your journey? Today, we're looking at our why. And I always say that when we're looking at our why is the biggest motivator for anything that we do. Why we choose a certain hairstyle, why we take a certain job and say no to another job, our why we charge more for our services. The why is the biggest, most important thing. And the why is your motivator for everything you do. And I think that's a huge thing. So when we're looking at our why, I want to then say, well, okay, Viv, why am I here tonight? Who is this for? So this is for you if, and this is the big thing, the drum roll, please. If you're struggling with managing unrealistic expectations. So I'm today going to be sharing with you some very unrealistic expectations that were thrown my way. And I'm going to be sharing with you how I got through those challenges, which was quite entertaining when I thought back of it. After a few glasses of wine. At the time, it was a total nightmare. But we're going to talk about managing unrealistic expectations. The next thing we're going to be looking at is if you are struggling with any haircutting and finishing skills. So that's pretty serious, isn't it? Okay, so let's get real. Do I love everything I do? And the answer is no. I look at some things, I think I could have been a whole lot better. And some things after I've done it, and I've taken a photograph of it, and I thought at the time, well, that really wasn't very good, Viv. You know, you've got to really do this, this, and this. So I have a good job of beating myself up, right? And then I think to myself afterwards, actually, it wasn't so bad after all. So sometimes we can be our own worst critic. Do you relate to that? I'm sure many of you do. The next thing we want to look at is if you're struggling with having enough time. How much time are we investing versus wasting? And time is the most precious commodity of all that I really want to address tonight. The other thing, if you're struggling with charging more for your services, how are you going to do that? So these are all things I've been challenged with throughout my career. And I actually now, in my older years, do have some answers to some of these challenges that I've witnessed for over 40 years, actually. So what we're going to be looking at today is if you're struggling with retention and referrals, is that a challenge for you? So let me know in the chat, how many of you are new in our industry? How many of you have been around a while, so you're seasoned and experienced? I'm curious to know what that is for you. And hi, Sarah's in the house. How lovely. And hi, Jean. Hi, Tracy, Michelle, Mary Ellen, Ginger, Ingrid. I already said hi to you. So you're a New York salon owner. Fabulous, fabulous. So the imposter syndrome, I've been there. And I just recently realized that I've struggled with this my entire career. Kind of funny, really, and sad at the same time. So what does that mean exactly? Well, it's looking at the challenge of struggling with an empty chair, the invisible wall, and feeling like a puppet. And what that means is, for me, and I'm not sure how many of you relate to this, How many of you have been challenged with perfectionism? Come on, raise your hands. How many of you? It is real, Tracy. It is so real. Mary Ellen saying she's been in business for over 40 years. God bless you, Mary Ellen. Well done. 18 years with Tracy. And Tim, I'm new. Okay. So, perfectionism. I don't know where that came from, but I have been cursed with perfectionism. And you can set yourself up to fail when you have this mindset. I do know that, because whatever you're doing is never good enough. And so perfectionism, the fear of failure, self-doubt, and anxiety all have been my friends, and I've gift wrapped them and I've taken them around the world. Sometimes it's been this invisible wall. Sometimes I felt like the puppet where the client is pulling my strings. And with that being said, I'm going to tell you my first crazy story. In New York, a beautiful salon, working there in Soho. And I had this particular client come, and she was super intimidating and very demanding and quite aggressive. And so when I'm around that energy, I try and make myself softer and quieter and more gentle, so that I'm hoping that the person's going to come to my energy versus me going to their energy. So everything about my conversation with her was soft. Anyway, she was very, very difficult. I tried my very best. And inside of me, I thought, I'm never going to do this well enough. I feel like an imposter. I have a fear of failure, and I'm self-doubting myself because this lady's personality is having that impact upon me. I'm buying into what she's doing. Long story short, she came back to me several times, and she just became more and more difficult. And one day I decided I have anxiety when I know she's in my book, and I don't want to deal with her anymore. I'm going to get rid of her. Now, I didn't know you could get rid of somebody until somebody in New York said to me, oh, just fire your client. I went, you can't do that, surely. And oh, yes, you can. I went, okay. So I thought, well, how do I fire a client that I don't like, who's causing me stress and anxiety, and I'm not enjoying my day, and it really is too much. So I thought, right, I'm going to be as elegant as I possibly can. So I said to this lovely lady, I said, I'm trying everything I can to please you. And clearly, I cannot, and I want to, but I don't know how to please you. Oh, no, Viv, you really are very good. I know I'm difficult. And I said, well, actually, I'm going to recommend somebody else to do your hair. And she was mortified. I thought she'd be totally okay about it, and she wasn't. And she said, no, I know I'm difficult, please. She said, are you firing me? I said, well, I'm just recommending somebody else who I think you'll be more suited to, because actually I don't feel I can serve you the way that you want. Even though I'm giving you all I have, it's just not working. So basically I sent it to somebody that was also an alpha, very strong female, and off she went. I can't even begin to tell you the sense of relief. I stood up for myself. I thought, no, you're not raining on my parade. And it was the first time I realized that imposter syndrome who had been ruling my life, and now I was going to start ruling it. I was going to say, no, I'm going to tear down the walls that are stopping me. I am not going to be a puppet. And I'm going to build a clientele in a way that's authentic, that fits my brand, and I'm not going to compromise. And it was so liberating. And I'm going to be talking to you more about the practicality of that. How many of you relate to that kind of story? Sad, isn't it? Sad, but true. But anyway, what we're going to cover today, let's talk about what we're covering. The client consultation strategy that has been a lifesaver for hundreds of hairdressers when managing difficult clients. That's what we're going to discuss. The next thing, discover an easy way on how to unlock more free time to grow your business so you can feel like you're constantly pushing yourself forward. The next thing we're going to look at, how to approach clients when they ask you for a design or style that you know doesn't fit them, while many of them are distracted by social media. We can all relate to that. The trick to naturally overcoming the fake it till you make it attitude, even if you feel has been a challenge to catch up with social media. And how many of you can relate to that, right? So how many of you relate to some of these pain points? Taking too long to get the results you want. You want to increase your prices but don't know how. Lacking some of the confidence to ask for what you need. not having the rewards in the workplace that you should have and deserve, making more by working less, not growing your business at the desired result. How many of you can relate to that? So just let me know in the chat, how many of you go, oh yeah, Viv, that's me. And I think in truth, we've all been there, haven't we? So what I want to say to you is, if you can stay to the end, which I hope you will, this is going to be a 90-minute presentation. I'm going to show you how you'll be able to access a gift from me, a free gift. So that's going to come at the end of today's presentation. And why listen to me? I'm sure some of you have no idea who the heck I am. I woke up this morning and wondered who I was. But anyway, I've been branded the hairdresser's hairdresser because I truly care about the hairdresser. I'm the founder of HairDesigner TV. I started it 19 years ago. We have a lot of videos on there. I started off in London as the creative director for Vidal Sassoons and then Trevor Sorbie. I've won many awards, 7 NAHA awards. I've done a lot of international work, editorial, print, runway. That's been a lot of fun. And I've worked with some major brands, helping them develop their educational products. So I've got a lot of experience. I love being in a studio. I love shooting. And it was always great when we shot for a magazine, because at one point in time, there were magazines you could buy and touch, right? Outside of the digital world. Whatever I learn backstage, I want to bring to hairdressers. I want to be able to show them tricks and techniques that actually are going to transform their business, as well as solid skills. So in my journeys around the world, one of the things I love to do is show somebody how to climb that ladder of success. We've created the world's leading online training programs, and my library is truly vast in everything from cutting, styling, and dress work. I am delighted to say I'm very proud mum here. 2 great hairdressers, Ruth Roach and Stephen Moody, both award-winning hairdressers. They were my babies back in the day, and I was blessed to have trained them, and they've gone on to be superstars. So it makes me super, super happy. So I'm going to bring in a very special guest now. So Colette is a delightful, first of all, a delightful young lady. She's based just outside of Seattle. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And she is in her gorgeous salon. She's a salon owner. She's a very, very successful salon owner and a fabulous stylist. And I had the pleasure of meeting her, almost a year ago now, when she was part of my training program. So we've known each other for a while. And I just wanted you to share with our friends here today your transformation. And we'll go into the details of what happened. But the Colette now, compared to the Colette before I knew you.
All right. Well, that's it's kind of a far cry over the last year. Having heard about your program, I was a pretty good hairdresser. I would say I've gone through lots of educational classes, learning technical skills for sure. But what you brought to the table was, at the very beginning, I thought I was even a good stylist, blow drying and such. But elevating my expertise with just the consultation, it blew me away. My clients now say no one has ever analyzed their face, their profile, their skull shape, the way their hair naturally falls. I make them stand up. I look at their body, the in-depth, who are they really? Do you want your hair to whisper, talk, or scream? Where do you live in fashion? No one's ever asked them that before. So we're on a whole different playing field just from the get-go, just in the consultation. So then blow drying skills, the things that I have learned have elevated me to be able to charge more for my services, and people don't even bat an eye now. And I live in a very small town of about 12,000 people. It's a tiny little town at the base of Mount Rainier. And I work alone, but there's nobody in this small town that's even like me. So I'm looking forward to growing my business more, perhaps bringing on another stylist to tutor them. But it's been an incredible journey.
And when you put up your prices, did you get any pushback from any of your clients?
No. The quality of work that I was giving them was unlike anything they had gotten before. So they saw the value.
Yes. Yeah. That's huge. So how exciting to learn new skills, to be able to do consultations that are just transformative and take your game to that next place. And that's really what it's all about. So we're going to come back to you in a moment, Colette. So do you know that the average time spent on social media is 2 hours a day? And Tracy's saying people think that those Instagram looks take 2 hours when they take 12 hours and they want to pay us for a 2-hour service. You're right. In fact, I've seen hairstyles that have been performed in 12 seconds, and I've tried to recreate them myself. And 3 hours later, I'm still struggling. So yes, if you measure yourself against reels and posts you're seeing on social media, you're comparing yourself to something that's not even real. And what's fascinating is, as much as I love social media, as much as I'm sure many of you do, it's a great source for information, clearly. But the average time spent on social media is 2 hours a day, which is pretty amazing, actually, which 30 days during the year. 30 days of our life endlessly scrolling. That is insane. Just think of what you could do for a holiday, right? So that endless scrolling, what is it producing? Yes, it's important to be informed. Yes, it's important to be inspired. But what if you see something and you actually feel deflated? What if you see someone with this huge following and you think, oh, I've just got a little following, and you feel deflated? What are you comparing to? So I want us tonight to have a strategy to focus on self. I want each of you to focus on yourself today and not think about what anybody else is doing, because this is your game and your goal. And I want to help you get there, which is very, very important. So when we're looking at, many times we want to go faster, to only find we went in the wrong direction. So I just said the average person's 2 hours on social media a day, which is 30 days of the year. Think about if you could turn that into something where the habits you had were so transformative and they actually challenged all the different points I spoke to in the very beginning. So very often we have a lack of system. And I'm going to talk to you about a system tonight that is not ping pong balling all over the place from one shiny object to the next. And I'm just as guilty as the rest of us in hairdressing. It's like, oh, that's nice, pounds. Oh, that's nice, pounds. No. We've got to be focused and get it right before we go on to the next thing. And I'm so glad that I had drill sergeants in my early career who said, no, Vivienne, that's not good enough, do it again. No, Vivienne, it's not good enough, do it again. And at the time it was like, ah. But I'm so glad I went through that, because actually that discipline has served me very, very well throughout my career. So clients' expectations, what are they? So let's take a look at the different type of clients we have, how we navigate through them. And I'm going to give you a real good example. Visionary, fence-sitter, and resistor. Clearly, if we are visionary, we will attract visionary. If we are indecisive and we have that, we feel like that puppet being maneuvered too much by our client, then we're going to be that fence-sitter, which is not going to be a good thing at all. But if we are then a resistor, we're going to get resistors. So the first thing I want you to think about tonight is, how can I show up in my space being more visionary? What does that look like for me? How do I do that? And when I catch myself resisting, go in and investigate, what's that resistance? Because I don't want to put resistance out to the universe. I want to put vision out to the universe. When I feel that I'm vacillating, maybe I should, maybe I won't, maybe I should, maybe I won't. You know, it's like that rocking chair. Lots and lots of movement, but it's going nowhere, right? Going nowhere. So that fence sitter, am I being that? Well, I think I'll do that technique, but maybe I won't. I think I will, maybe I won't. No. Visionary. And there's a mindset and an attitude to being a visionary. So that's what I want to talk about. So when this lady came into me for a pre-consultation, I was like, oh my goodness me. She was shy, she was apprehensive, she was nervous, and she wanted a big change. Now, this lady said, Viv, I trust you. I'll let you do anything you want. And when I heard those words, I went, really? Now all the weight and the responsibility is on my shoulders, right? And I'm looking at their hair thinking, she's got a straight fringe, she's got frizz in the back, she's got all this different texture, Probably if I layer it, she's going to turn up being this big round ball. Like, how the hell am I going to do this hair? And it was so thick and so heavy, and she's so tiny. So I thought, okay, so let's think about this. So then I get this next client that comes in, and this client is a very strong alpha female, complete opposite personality to the previous lady. She's got her long hair. She wants something new. She wants volume. She wants all of these things that are, do you remember how we started this presentation off? Unrealistic expectations. Well, this lady had very unrealistic expectations. I actually lost sleep thinking about her, what I was going to do, because I met both of them before I cut their hair. And it's like, okay, what am I going to do? And I was like spinning around in my mind, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Because these are major changes, right? So I thought, okay, well, a little bit later on, I'm going to show you what I did. I'm going to talk you through the strategy as to how I got there. I asked you guys to tell me what's on your mind. And this is what you were saying to me. Managing wishy-washy clients, a lack in the ability to sell an idea or product, and how to upsell a service. How many of you can relate to that? How many of you can relate to that? The next one, lack of imagination, doing the same thing on everyone. And again, even with those ladies I showed you, I was feeling pulled to something very safe, something I was very comfortable with. And it was like, oh, what's going on? My imagination's starting to kind of wane here. The next thing is how to stay competitive in your market and being relevant to what's going on. So you went on a journey with me for a year, and the first thing we focused on was the consultation. And you've already mentioned that it was pretty transformative with your clients, giving them that narration, giving them a totally different script and getting a totally different answer. So we went on that part first, and then we dove into the fundamentals of how we map out a haircut. And then we went through our primary disciplines. We worked on the razor and so on and so forth. Now that you're coming to the end of the program, how do you feel about your skill level now compared to when we first started?
I'm a much more precision hair cutter. I think before I cut, I play with the hair a lot more than I did before. I stand back. I look a lot more than I ever did before. And that has just been so transformational for me. It really makes a difference when you've taken a look away and look at all the angles of the face. Really, how's that hair laying? Because I mean, I've had some jumpy bangs. I've had some jumpy fringe in the back, around the ear. And I just take longer to really analyze the haircut. But knowing exactly like where I'm going, you can have the consultation, you can have this idea, and then you go to cut the hair and, oh geez, now what? It's sometimes been a shocker, but I definitely have a better quality of service because of the expertise that you have shared with me in this program. And, the consultation, just really understanding, like if that person has curly hair, it's, I'm usually a little bit more prepared for that. But sometimes the hair can surprise you.
It does indeed.
Sometimes the hair surprises you. But yeah, the quality of work I'm doing now, and in the finish work, I have to speak to the finished work of just a simple bob blew me away. And I'm still telling people about the bob series. When we blew dry bobs, not even in hair cutting yet, just blowing them dry. The very first day I'm blowing the hair dry, I'm almost in tears because I had no idea how to blow dry a thatched bob, completely straight. I thought I was a really good blow dryer before, finished stylist. Wow, what an incredible journey. I feel I have made my bobs look absolutely stunning walking out the door, that it's top notch, definitely more high end than just anything they can get just right down the street.
And so the other thing that you've been doing for me is photographing your work so that I can give you feedback. So what has the camera taught you? Because that's been a game changer for you now, posting your work to promote your brand.
It makes such a difference. One of the things that I was, I'm not technical by any means. I've been doing hair for 35 years. And when I went to beauty school, it was in the 80s, and nobody used cell phones for sure back then. So as a hairdresser currently, I'm always challenged with the technology. It's like, oh my gosh, I just want to do a stupid foil and a good haircut, but now I have to be a photographer, a videographer, performer. And taking those photographs has taught me so much. And I'm always learning from even other students that I'm in the class with, like, wow, what an incredible way that she displayed that, like the one gal that used bubble wrap, for one of her photographs. I'm like, wow, way to think outside the box, but it really showcased the hairstyle. So photographing for me is now taken on a whole new art form, getting that right angle, making sure the lighting is correct. Am I showcasing even the mannequin head in the right way? And perhaps she needs some lashes and earrings, it's like, because this is a very glamorous, she needs a different backdrop because it's a very glamorous look. Yeah, it's definitely changed me than just the photographs I took before, just the client sitting in the chair with all that noise in the background. That was my photos on Instagram before. And now I want a totally different view, a totally different elevated persona as a stylist. So people can look at that and go, wow, that looks way more expensive.
Excellent. And that's what's exciting, that they come in with that expectation and therefore you're not working so hard. We're going to come back again to Colette in a moment. What I wanted to talk to you about is that the real question here. At this point, there's clearly two choices, and I'm going to show you what those two choices are today. Choice number one is to go alone, and which is the hard way, and try and figure out what I'm going to share with you on your own. And choice number two is to be able to book a call with me, get super clear on your focus and the right strategy for you, and for me to help you on your way. What I do know is that any time when we're working, there is always a gap from where you are now, from where you want to go. And that's really important to understand the why, as I mentioned earlier, and where I want to be. And I am here to help you bridge that gap, which is so very important. What is the one thing you're committed to learn over this next year? So 2023 is around the corner. If you had the training and the coaching, could you achieve your goal? Which will be quicker with more outstanding results? Figuring it out by yourself or following a proven system? So write to me in the chat and please let me know what would be what are you committed to achieve next year? What is your big burning desire? I'd love to know what that is. Sarah's saying it's a game changer. Tracy's saying that this is my biggest fear. So we've got a lot of the people in the house that are relating to what I'm saying. Ask yourself if what you're doing today is getting closer to where you want to be tomorrow. And that's a very profound statement. So what I do know is that in my training, I want to take people through the fundamentals. I want to be able to map out a hairstyle, plan the hairstyle before we even pick up our tools. So often we rush a consultation. What are we doing today? We're not as thorough as we should be. We rush through the technique. Instead of getting it right first time, we spend quite a lot of time detailing. And what I want to do is avoid that. My goal, get it right first time. And as I said, one of the big things that I do, and I say it a lot, and Colette can come in on this in a moment, I say to people, right, tools down. Do not pick up your tools right now. The first thing we want to do is look at the face shape. We want to study the face. We want to know how to open or close that face. We have that as our goal. No tools. Vogue around the face and use your hands to frame around the face to see that perfect balance and proportion. And as I'm going around there, I'm still no tools, no tools. Then before I even get into my haircut, I start mapping. I look at my lengths, I give myself focal points, and I map before I cut. All of those little steps makes me aware of face, that I'm cutting the perfect line to the face, that I'm choosing the ideal length, that I have thought about my why before the how. Why would I layer it? Oh, the hair's so thick. Why would I layer it? Well, I want to skinny it down. The why is my driving force, the why. That's so important. So what I know is that when I have technical strength in what I'm doing, it leaves room for creativity. When I get it right first time, it leaves room for creativity. When I get it right first time, I don't have to fiddle and fuss. When I measure as I go, I don't have to do detailing at the end or checking at the end because I'm checking all the time. And one of the things, and I'm going to bring Colette in on this so she can give her answer. One of the things I say often, don't I, Colette, is the 10-second rule.
Yes. And that
What did that mean to you?
different. Well, it's that, yeah, kind of spoke to it a little bit before. Stop, look, just stop and look. And literally 10 seconds, you can see, oh, this little piece right here isn't quite right, or it's not laying perfectly, or, oh, this side's a little bit longer than the other, isn't it? I wouldn't notice that before. Taking those 10 seconds, you might see something you would have missed. If you just kept going, then you have to do all that extra work at the end. So
Yes.
yeah, it makes a big difference.
So Ingrid is saying, have a new way of doing business and upgrade my management skills and styling techniques. Fantastic. Lena is saying, become more updated feel like Colette. Great. The program changed my outlook, my skill set, and my overall, where did it go? I was just reading Sarah and she vanished. Oh, there you are, Sarah. Sarah saying the program changed my outlook, my skill set, and my overall business, which is beautiful. And Sarah is such a talented, beautiful hairdresser who went also through our program. Great to see you here, Sarah. Great to see you. I challenge you to do this, guys. Your last client, one of your last clients who's your favorite client, get your phone, put it on one of those little tiny tripods and film you. And this is what you want to look at. How much of the time are you looking at the line between your fingers? Cut, 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 cut. How much of the time are you looking here versus cut, release, play with the hair, move the hair, look into the mirror, work on the balance, maybe a cross check, and then go back, cut, cross check, play with it, design, cut and design, cut and design, and get the picture and the shape you want as you go, not remove, blow dry. Now bring out your tools, start detailing, start chopping into it, start moving it around. And how many of you, come on, we can all confess to this one. I'm even going to confess to it. The client stands up and she walks away and you go, whoo. Or she comes back to you after she's been to reception. You go, ooh, oh, like, what happened there? And you're looking. I think the worst thing to do is go out with someone for lunch after you've just cut their hair, because your whole lunch is like going, well, it's like, is that longer on that side than that side? Could you just move your head over that way a little bit? Oh, no, it looks perfect. And it's like, do you realize you got one shoulder higher than the other? Because really, my bob was perfect, but now it's looking like, how many of you have done that, right? So it's so important. So let me tell you about the program, because I'm sort of teasing along here, but let me tell you about the program, because this is what's transformed so many lives. The program is really very, very cool. It's the HairDesigner program. It will get you faster than anything I can possibly imagine, because this is what we do. We show up once a week for a live workshop. You watch the videos before class, and after you've watched the video, we then recreate the look in class. So you can work from the comfort of your kitchen, your salon, your home, right? Your garden. And you can then, from there, photograph your work, which is what Colette has been doing. And after we photograph our work, we've got some really great examples. That was Sarah's work there we just saw. And we basically photograph the work. You then get feedback on your work. We have group coaching and there's certification. We give some prizes along the way, and it's just a whole lot of fun. And it really is about a community and having a whole lot of fun. Now, what makes this program so uniquely different is this, that when we are working on this program, we watch the videos, step 1. We recreate the looks in class, which is step 2. And then we post our work in the forum so that I can see what you're doing and I can give you feedback. So, clearly you can go out to all of the different places that have videos right now, which is fantastic, as long as you can apply it and it can add value to your style and your brand. But what I've discovered, there's nothing more powerful than watching a video And then the author of that video being there with you, me, and I'm watching you work and I'm giving you the critique and I'm saying, no, lift that up, elbow down, da, 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 da. And then I see your photograph. So I've watched Colette's photographs over a period of time. I've watched how she's evolved. I've watched how she's experimented. I've recognized certain traits and things that she loves to do. She's very good at glamorous and pretty, and she loves a little bit of retro, but she loves edge. She's very creative, very creative. So I've watched her go on this delicious journey, and that's where the results are. And out of all the teaching I've ever done in my career, I've never seen the results that I'm seeing right now, which is pretty amazing, actually. So the program consists of 5 pillars. And this one, the first one we're going to talk about is the first pillar, which is 3 ways to make more money. First of all, when we look at the 3 ways to make more money, number 1 is increase your prices, which Colette has already done. Number 2, offer more services in the salon and be able to go out on location on different jobs that may have not been even possible because the styling skills that you had may have been limited within the box of the salon. We've had people go through our program who are doing photo shoots, fashion shows, and they had no training before in editorial work. They started to do this type of work, more finishing and styling, and the doors and the opportunities open for them. So offering more services, and that's a huge thing. And then the final thing, more clients. So when you think about that, those 3 elements, that's how you're going to make more money, but you've got to back it up with really great technique. So in order to get fully booked, I absolutely believe the first thing is managing wishy-washy clients and the lack of ability to sell an idea through or sell a product through. And that's what we're going to park on looking at first. 97% of stylists say they offer a consultation to their clients. That's pretty high. 7% of clients say they are given a consultation by their stylist. So what I want to ask you right now, do you really feel that you're doing a 5-star consultation? Or do you feel that sometimes you're just taking an order? Like, what are we doing today? Did that shape work well for you? Just a little bit off through there. Yeah, I'm just going to layer it a little bit more, this, da, 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 da. It's kind of more of order taking versus what I'm going to share with you next, which is what Colette has experienced on her journey. I spoke to you in the beginning about the imposter syndrome. I have battled with feeling intimidated by celebrities, intimidated by big, high-paying jobs. I've been intimidated. I've absolutely been frustrated by hair that just won't do what you want it to do. I've had frustration of not enough time, frustration the hair won't work, frustration, whatever the frustration is. I could give you a shopping list of frustration. Now tell me how many of you can relate to this. If you're intimidated and you're frustrated, is it a surprise that you'd be uninspired or unmotivated? Would it be a surprise? I don't think so, right? Because when something intimidates you, it crushes you. When something is frustrating, that hair, she's got 4 hairs on her head, or she's a troll that just came in, right? It's very frustrating. But what if you can flip it around? What if you can flip that around, that when it's intimidating, you have the communication skills and the technical skills to get yourself out of that one? When you're frustrated by something, you can go, whoa, I just tried this technique, it didn't work. So for example, when we're doing setting work, I always say, do a test round in the nape of the neck. Test it with 2 or 3 different irons, different temperatures, different products. Do a test here so that you don't literally set yourself up to fail. Now, I have a photograph on my wall here somewhere. Where is she? I did a hairstyle, I did a wave on a photo shoot. And I just threw these rollers in. Yeah, it's going to work. I didn't even test the product. I took the hairstyle out after 20 minutes and the whole thing went, blah. I went, oh no. Looked at the time. Damn, I've got 9 hairstyles to do. This is a problem. I then went through and I barrel curled it all. Put more product in, I brush the hair through, I have nothing here and I have poodle curls here. I want a wave. I have not got it. I go, oh. So inside, I'm having a nervous breakdown, thinking, you don't belong here, Vivienne, you're no good, you're useless. I just went down that whole pity party avenue. And I thought, well, that's not going to get me there. Got all these people looking at me. I've got a videographer filming me. And it's like, oh, let's document my failure. Why don't we, right? And I thought, right, take a deep breath. Marcel wave. Why don't you do that? I put the Marcel waves in, and it turns out beautiful. I went through 3 techniques to get there. Now, I knew you should test strand, do your product test, and then you won't be frustrated. I thought I had it all sorted. I didn't do what I knew. This inner voice that said, do that, right? Because I was in a rush, so I wasn't functioning properly, and I paid a price. What I learned from that is forget the pain, but learn the lesson. And that navigation through there inspired me to want to learn more and to want to do better. And I love this quote: when life doesn't allow you to change anything else, get a new hairstyle, right? It's kind of a cool statement here. So when this lady, as I mentioned before, came in, I was very, very intimidated by her hair. And I thought, what the heck am I going to do? And she really did want to have a major transformation. So here's her transformation. And, you know, it was just so lovely to take her, this shy, very timid person, and transform her in this way. But it also takes confidence to be able to go in and do something that's appropriate, where that's a real, genuine smile, right? A genuine smile. So just getting it right, I think, is so important. So let's look at, you know, I obviously layered through her hair. I kept the weight as much as I could because of all the waves. And I obviously just gave her something very soft, very, very commercial. So what I found was that I was not going to be intimidated. I wasn't going to be frustrated. And I ended up being very inspired and very motivated. So let's look at this other everyday reality. When we look at this lady here, what would you do is my question. So how many of you would go for shoulder length? If you would just in the chat go, yes, shoulder length. So we're saying the garden's beautiful. Yeah, I'm an avid gardener, clearly. Tracy's saying you are retelling every stress nightmare, right? Oh, God, we're not alone. So how many of you would go here? How many of you would go with collar length? How many of you would go to cheekbone? How many of you would go to the ear? So let's go back. We're going collar, cheekbone, collar, shoulder length. Where would you take this lovely lady? Now look at her neck, look at her jawline, look at where our focus is going to be. What would you do? What would be your goal here? Let's just give a few moments just to hear some feedback from you. Mary Ellen saying, definitely. Woohoo! She's brave, right? Well, who else would go? Tracy saying, cut it short. Right, I love that. So I will show you what I did on this lovely. Lino saying cheekbone. And so what I actually did was, before I show you that, these were her photo references. So clearly both of these references were going to put volume around her jaw. And all her narrative, all her conversation, Sarah saying the ear, all her conversation was, I don't want to go too short, but I hate my neck and I hate my jaw. So what was really interesting, as I was having this conversation, I said, would you be open to going short? And she went, that short, which is like, 14 inches off of her hair. And I vogued around her face and I showed her what we could do to lift this area here. Now, when a client's talking about this, fashion is secondary. How quiet or loud is secondary. What she's concerned is about face shape more than is it on trend, blah, blah, blah. But what she did say that was really interesting, if you cut my hair short, when I look even older, she said, doesn't short hair make women look older? I went, no, it depends on how it's cut short, right? And there's an art to making short hair on a mature lady look cool and modern and fresh. There definitely is. So when I went through the whole consultation and I looked at these images, I explained to her why these images wouldn't work, because all the volume is around the jawline. I've just had the honor of cutting Patricia's hair from long to short. Patricia, how do you feel about your new hairstyle?
I love it. I absolutely love it. It is not what I thought I would end up with. It's not what I envisioned me getting, but it is exactly what I want. So it became a surprise that is exactly what I want.
That's so wonderful. And how was the consultation for you?
The consultation went very well because it was open. It wasn't closed. I didn't have to say what I wanted. You showed me different ways my hair could look by moving it around, by pulling it up, by pulling it back, so I could begin to picture something other than saying to you, all right, I want my hair shoulder length, or I want my hair this way or that, because I didn't know what that would be. It wasn't until you started moving my hair around that I could picture what my hair could look like. And that's how we kind of did it together, you know, and came up with an answer.
Well, I think you look stunning, and thank you for the honor of doing your hair.
Oh, thank you. It's just been so much fun, and I love it.
What if I didn't have the skill set to cut hair short? What if I didn't have the awareness to understand shape and balance? So the big thing is that when we're looking at a design, are we looking at inches? Or are we looking at shape? Remember, if you are only looking at the line between your fingers and at the end you look at the shape, it's too late. I want to, right from the beginning, vogue around the face, show how to lift, show what's important through here, and give that elevation. And my language is elevation, lift, open. And I'm not going to use the word youthful, but I'm going to say it's going to look fresher. And I can't do anything about someone's neck, but she knows now that that's the next thing that she's going to have done, which is amazing, 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 because she's going to feel even better about herself. And that's what's so very exciting. The neckline was scruffy and soft. So many times on a more mature lady, they say, well, cut it nice and short. And it's like, no, we're not going to do that. I don't want you looking like a boy. I need for you to look soft and feminine. That's what we're going to do. And if you don't like it, I'll fire you, because I'm really good at that now, right? So in our term one, we learn how to put the right hairstyle on the right face, how to make your clients look more youthful, design with intention, increase retention, increase referrals, the art of blow drying and styling, photo journaling is a huge part of it. Being creative is your pathway to developing your brand. So many stylists say they have a hard time reading a face shape and find it challenging to educate their client into a new style. My method removes the guesswork. Follow my method and you'll have lasting results and success. So I'm just going to bring Colette in because I want to hear from her. In the beginning for you, Colette, talking to your clients about face shape, did you first of all find many of your clients were keen to hear about their face?
Yes. I think people like to have me as a designer, as a stylist, as they're sitting in the chair, they're looking for me for advice. So when I start to design and show them, I want you to pull our hair back. And then I want to look at your forehead. I'm going to look at your eyebrows. I'm looking at your cheekbones. And I'm looking at your profile, your jaw, your chin. And I actually hand them the mirror and I turn them to the side. And then I show them. Now, if we pull the hair away and we lift it, you see how that elevates your face, and that sells them right there. And I'll show them, okay, forehead is a little bit just a whisper, further back than your jaw. So I think giving you a little bit of fringe from a profile point of view is going to be absolutely beautiful. And by the end of it, they're like, yeah, do whatever.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. That is so great. That is so great. And, that's what it's about. We've got Sarah in the house here. She's an incredibly talented hairdresser. She was talented before she came to me. It was like, wow. And she's actually been on one of these presentations, but I love what Sarah shared because she was such an inspiration to me. She was 7 weeks into her training. I'm loving this program. I'm using the 3 wheels of fashion consultation on most of my clients now. It's very enlightening. My clients love the extra attention and the intentional conversation on how to enhance their face shape. I'm having more fun behind my chair than never before. I've increased my prices and my clients leave with a bigger smile and a little bit more bounce in their step. And that's what's so, so, so addictive. And I wish I could bring Sarah into the feed, but I'm not quite sure how I could even do that, Sarah. But I'm going to show off your work. Sarah did this, and it was just so great. It was such an inspiration. Part of the training is I like to, and this is a great thing for you to do, before you even play around with a haircut. I challenge you this week, take one of your longer haircut clients, and before you cut her hair, put the parting to the left, take a photograph, put the parting to the right, take a photograph, take the hair off the place, take a photograph, put the hair in the center parting, take a photograph. Have that conversation with your client. It's just a few moments to quickly do that. Try it on the last guest of the day. So if you run over, it's not a big deal, because that's what's so, so powerful, to be able to just do small, easy changes, changing a parting, but seeing how that's transformed. So in the first term of our program, what we're working on is face shape design, consultation, fashion, how to come up with fresh new ideas, and how to style the hair editorially to create really great looks. I love this also. This is another great quote. The science of beauty and the beauty of science. I can't tell you how amazing this program is. I never in my career have heard of a hairdresser speak of the golden ratio. It's a mathematical explanation of aesthetics. It's the art of science or the science of art. After 15 years of hairdressing, just watching the first few videos of the program, everything just clicked. And I feel I can thrive and be the best version of myself as a hairdresser. And this is from Paul. So what I always like to teach, and I have to do this even more so for the beautiful women in the house. When a man has cut my hair, and I've had some very famous male hairdressers cut my hair who I love and adore, and I've got, success is not gender-based, success is talent and determination, right? But I've had some really amazing men just say to me when I'm sitting in their chair, Viv, darling, it's look amazing on you, don't worry about it. And I go, okay. Now, a woman could never say that to me. She'd have to prove it. She couldn't say, oh, Viv, darling, it's going to look great, don't worry. No, we can't use that language, but what we can use is science, because beauty is a science. There's a science behind the beauty. And when you play to the science, it's a fact, it's not an opinion. And while opinions can be great, and people are coming to you for your advice and your consultation and your opinion, when you can back it up with the science, which is this, for example, the ratio. So this is another thing I'd like you to do this week. I'd like you to start measuring your clients' faces for the proportion. And it's fascinating because when you balance a hairstyle this way, it's always going to work, because it's the science of proportion, the law of three. There's more to this. I'm simplifying it right now. But what I like to do in my training is give my stylists a goal. And the goal may be so simple. I always say, I'm looking every week for a 1% change. So maybe the 1% change is measuring one client a day, her face, and nothing more than that. Don't do more. I want you to do less. I want you to come back hungry for more, but I want you to do less. And I want you to see the difference of the result by just doing that. And that's pretty huge, right? So my consultation has come over years of heartache and struggle. And this is the first and most important thing that I focus on. I want to know if my hairstyle is going to fit the personality and the lifestyle of my guest, which is taking into consideration age, her lifestyle, her personality. Does her personality whisper, scream, or shout? Is her personality and style classic, edgy, trendy? Is she a kind of client that wants to be feminine, or she's strong, she's boyish and sexy? So that's the first place I go. The next place I go is to face shape. So my first phase is lifestyle, designed from the inside of their head, designed to the inside of the head before you go to the outside. I need to know if you're just a very quiet and shy, or hello, Viv, I've arrived. I need to know where you are. I need to know if you're sexy or if you're just strong. I just need to know all of those things, because I could make a strong haircut and buzz off the back, right? Or I can make it soft and scruffy and make it sexy. When I was working on that lovely lady that I just showed you, she said to me a little bit sheepishly, she said, I'd like to feel sexy. And when we were done, she said, I feel sexy. I'm going to start dating. She said, does your husband know any men? I'd like one 10 years younger than myself. So my husband turns around and says, well, who will be paying? But anyway, I like to design fashion and lifestyle first because we're in the fashion business, right? This is fashion, right? Then I design to face shape. The very last thing I even think about is technique. It's the last thing on my mind, the last thing. Now, for, I don't know, 30 years, it was the first thing. And the result was different because I always thought technically, I'm going to layer your hair. I'm going to cut your hair here. I was this little technical machine. Now I've flipped it around and I get more excited about who is sitting in my chair than the mechanics of what I'm doing. It's not about me, it's about them, right? It's shifting the balance, and that makes a huge difference. So when we're looking at something like this, if I'm looking through the wheel of femininity and I look at these hairstyles here, I can go, okay, so which one is more feminine? Or I can look at these and go, okay, well, which one is more trendy? Or I can look through my third wheel and say, well, which one is more fashion? So as I'm looking at those, I can then go, okay, well, then which one fits which face shape? Because I've got to tick all of the right things to get the value and increase my value behind my chair. So one is our heart. So the volume is going to sit in the lower part of the face. Two, we have the round. So we want to elongate our round and give it a symmetry. Our pair, which is number 3, we need to give volume to the top of the head and skinny down the volume in the lower part. Our number 4, which is our rectangle face, we need to shorten the distance and give volume to the hairstyle. So one of the things that Colette has learned is how to see the world this way. She has learned how to balance. She's learned how to have the conversation with her client to make that work. So in term 1, just to sort of summarize, and this is what I want you to focus on this week, you're measuring. I want you to start thinking about lifestyle, design from the inside to the outside. Now, I use a consultation form, which is automated. So therefore, time is money, isn't it? If I can have the guest fill out the consultation form before I've seen her, that saved me quite a lot of time. I want her to sit quietly, fill out my form. It goes over some really great, juicy questions. I then translate her answers. I then speak back to her. I see that you would like this hairstyle to be very feminine. It puts me on the same page as her. It saves me time and I have more clarity and I make less mistakes. And do you know, the biggest thing is it helps with not judging. Because we can so easily misjudge somebody and be going off on the wrong direction. So that's very important. So in that first term, what we're looking at is how we design to face shape, design to lifestyle, and we do it all through blow drying and styling and the iron work and dress work. Because if we get it wrong, we brush it out. If we get it wrong, we brush it out. But the goal is break with the habit of picking up that same brush, doing the same thing. That's so important. So that's what I'd really encourage. The next thing that's the game changer are the fundamentals, learning the rules before you break the rules. And this becomes really, really important. My goal is to teach anyone that's working with me one haircut, no fiddling, no fussing. Don't do 2 haircuts on one client. She's not paying for 2 haircuts. She's paying for 1, right? So this is what's so profound about this. I did a little mathematical thing. If you detail for 5 minutes per haircut times 8 haircuts a day equals 40 minutes a day. Times 52 weeks of the year, that is 26 working days. 26 days. What could you do with that extra time? I say, I'm taking a trip to Bali. That is insane. 5 minutes detailing, when if you get it right first time, you don't need to detail. That little haircut that we did, I did this haircut yesterday in our razor class with Colette. I didn't detail it. I just cut it. And it was done and dusted, right? And I was teaching at the same time. So, you know, it's all about getting it right first time. And that's a system. That is a system. Now, get this then. 26 work days of extra detailing costs you in a lost income of, if you're charging $75 for a haircut, $13,650 a year. That's what it's lost you. But think about it the other way. If you can work more efficiently and save time, right? And this is a practice, clearly. It doesn't happen overnight. Then obviously you can be making more money. And that's the big thing. So in the fundamentals, what we look at is overcoming the fear of cutting hair short, which is prevalent today. And we also look at going on a beautiful journey, which is I put novices through my training system, and they've kept up with seasoned stylists. Every single one of our technicals, I show animation so that you can see where the hair is living, where it's going to fall, and all of them are all mapped out. Because when you understand the map, you will be able to go exactly to your end result. And that's what's so important. And this is what increases your speed. This helps you be inspired. This increases your value, and that's really important. So the cost to unlearn and then relearn is so costly, wasting time and money. And my goal is to help you get there as fast as you can. So I'm going to ask Colette something right now. She came into the program, and it works out with the holidays that we take a year. And it was like, everyone always says, "Oh my gosh, that's such a long time." Has this been the fastest year of your life?
Absolutely. I know it's I can't even believe we're almost at the end. It's been an incredible journey. I've learned so much, and I look so forward to every Tuesday, because what has happened for me too is I've gotten really close to the fellow students, right? So you look forward to seeing them every single week. And I can't believe it's already at the end, and all of us are chatting and going, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss you." You know, it's like
I
it's
know,
been
it's
incredible,
pretty
so
cool.
fast. But I agree, it was very daunting at first. And I even said to the person I booked the call with, I said, "Well, here's the deal. I love to travel. And a year from now, it doesn't make any sense to me to not travel on that particular day that I have signed up to have class." And she had explained to me, "Well, if you can make up the class, they do record it. And, you know, if you miss it, you miss it. And then that's okay. Just keep going." Well, what I did instead, I'll share with the group, is I've taken my mannequin everywhere. I take it on vacation. It's gone camping. She's gone to Hawaii. When we were doing Real People, I used my daughter on a cruise and submitted that work. And I'm telling you, I'm dedicated. This has been a life changer for me.
It was so great when we saw you camping. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Ginger is asking approximately which percentage is scissors versus the razor. It's, I would say, probably about a 50-50. With a lot of the contemporary haircuts, the razor just gets you there so fast and you don't need to do anything. But we do have a lot of precision work as well. And so it's a lovely blend. So if you've seen the video where it's the razor, sometimes we'll use the scissors. Sometimes I say to the guys in class, pick your tool that you want. Or if I see people are hitting, sawing, ripping, tearing, which happens in the beginning, and now they float like butterflies, I will say, pick your tool. And what's amazing is everyone goes to the razor. It's just so fascinating. So I teach the razor in a very precision-based way, which is very, very important. So moving along here, let's just show you what else we have within the program. We go over our bobs. So we go over all different types of bobs. And as we're going on our bobs, again, we will use a blend of scissor versus razor. And as you'll see here in this particular little video, we map out the haircut, first of all, the why, and then we go into the how. And then in this case here, we will be working with our scissors and our razor, because I want a strong perimeter, but I want a ghost layer on the interior, and I want to be able to get it right first time. And as I say, I don't want to be wasting time technically doing 2 or 3 tricks or techniques when one technique's going to get me there a whole lot faster. And obviously through social media, we've seen some pretty amazing tricks and techniques, and all of them, when they're done well, can be fabulous. But if it's just a trick to sell some scissors, or it's just a trick to be clever, and it just adds more work to your world, then you've got to look through the smoke and mirrors. And I think that's very, very important. How I discovered this way of working. I moved from being a groomer to an image expert, and that was the big thing for me, because I was trained as a precision hair cutter, and I saw shapes and I saw balance, and I was obsessed with getting the haircut perfect. And for the most part, they look pretty good. But I wasn't obsessed about lifestyle, fashion, personality, face shape, balance, and having a style just fit that person. And, you know, when you live predominantly in a world, which I have done, where I'm working on models the whole time, I'm working with beautiful people. And tonight, I especially wanted to show you beautiful, mature ladies who I think are absolutely beautiful. And I actually got more reward from working with them and more gratitude than sometimes working on someone who comes in gorgeous and, you know, they're just beautiful, right? And you can do like the worst look on them, and their beauty makes your, or my ugly hairstyle look great. And I am guilty of that. I've done some really strange hairstyles on some beautiful girls and made them look worse than they really were. What I've learned is that when you get that consultation right, it elevates everything. That is the gateway to increasing your services. That's the way to increase the speed of how you go through your work. When you have solid technique in your fundamentals, you map out that hairstyle in the beginning, and then you get there sooner because you've chosen the right technique, you thought about it, and you've tested things out. And so therefore you are saving so much of that time because you're not fluffing around, being busy. And I'm always about work smarter, not harder, work smarter, not harder. And that's really, really huge. So what I think is the next challenging thing for many of us is how to stay competitive within the marketplace. And, you know, you can get very intimidated by all the things you see on social media. And I think it's so important that you stay true to your brand, your style, and go for it. In our term 4, we work on short hairstyles. So here's a really good example of sleek and groomed and textured. Who is that woman? You know, is she polished and glamorous, or is she sort of sexy and undone? 75% of young stylists say they're scared to cut hair short. So one of my big goals is to help people overcome the fear. And as much as I love long hair, and I do, I think it's so important to know how to style long hair, but also be fearless when it comes to cutting hair short. And so when we're looking at shorter hairstyles, we're looking at, okay, how do we map out that hairstyle? How do we blend, in this case here, Ginger, this is a combination of scissors and a razor, so that I've got all the movement on the inside of the hairstyle, but I've got texture on the outside. So it gives me lots and lots of movement and fun. So that's really very, very lovely. So again, it's being very playful. So what I want to emphasize again, we watch the video, we show up for class in our live events, and then we recreate the looks. So one of the big things that makes us different from the YouTubes and the Instagrams is that we have that human touch. We talk to you, we see what you're doing, we connect, and that makes it so exciting. So we have a great ebook, which we're going to be sharing with you at the end today. My final term is the layers, and we do every type of layering method. And again, it's learn the rules before you break the rules, which is so very, very important. How we map out that hairstyle. I always say to the hairdressers, stop, let's map it out. Let's give ourselves focal points. Let's work smarter, not harder. Let's understand the collapse of the hair. Where is that parting going to be? I understand the expansion. How's the hair going to lift? How is the hair going to collapse? Here you can see I'm razoring around the face to create that lovely softness. So those are important things that we like to work on as we're going through. So all the different types of layers that we do, and we end up going to our shortest layer, which is really fun. So when we're looking at our work and we're going, okay, we're going to go on this journey, there are only 3 ways to cut hair: vertically, diagonally, and horizontally. And when you understand how the hair falls and you understand the architecture of design, and you use your mirrors more, you step back, you look at balance, you look at proportion, and you're putting the right look on the right person. You see, I would do a huge disservice if I taught you something without teaching you the importance of suitability in the way that I'm speaking now. So, for example, sometimes I listen to the woman's conversation and how she's filled out the form. And if being sexy is the number one thing, that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to make sure that the number one lead on that story is being sexy. But if the person says that they want something that is a little bit more, you know, trendy and they're following the tribe, I will look at that trend and I'll say, right, I've got to now accommodate that for your face shape because you are not that person in that photograph. And as much as I love a photo reference, and in many photo shoot jobs, I've been asked to literally carbon copy a look. It is the hardest thing to do. Even when you're doing a shoot where you've got to do the same look the next day and you've got to literally carbon copy that look that you did yesterday on that person so the images match. How people do it in film and television, I have such respect for continuity. So it's very, very, very hard to take a photograph of something else and make it happen. It's almost like someone shows you a photograph of a chocolate cake, but the ingredients that you have are for a stew. It's like, that is not that, and you want me to make that. I'm just going to make a holy mess, right? And you're going to be able to say to a client, I love your photo references. They're really gorgeous. Love them. Great taste. But now let's get real. Because that lady's got a lot of hair and you've got 3. That lady is, no, I would be kinder than that. That lady's got this type of hair texture, this type of face shape. You have this type of face shape. I want to custom design that concept and that idea to your face. So the essence of what you like there, I see sensuality, I see boho, I see relax. If I could give you a sensual hairstyle that's boho and relaxed, would you like that? Now I'm speaking the language that she likes, she relates to. It's like, okay, yeah. That's how you win and you increase your value. And that's what separates you from the crowd, because you are meeting the client in the landscape where they live. And that really is the game changer. So Tess here, I'm always refreshed by what I learn. It is perfect for training new staff, get senior stylists out of a rut, strengthen your consultations, and so much more. I love the 24/7 access during my downtime. I empower myself with new knowledge. I can tell it's time for Viv to have a cocktail. I'm not used to working this late. So I spoke to you about a bonus. All of you who have stayed, you're going to get access to this webinar so that you can enjoy this and go back to some of the important things, the call to action that I gave you, right? I want you to do certain things this week. I want you to measure the face. I want you to really take a deep dive and looking at your consultation. I've challenged you to film yourself, right? And see how much time you are stopping, looking, measuring, checking, so you can see where your energy is being spent, right? I want you to do that. So the first 3 people who join my program today, I'm going to give you VIP access to one of my workshops. So that's super, super exciting. So I'm going to encourage you now to sign up, right? Because I would love to work with you. I would love to be able to help you and guide you, because I promise you, you'll have a whole lot of fun and you'll enjoy the journey. You're also going to get my ebook, and this ebook goes over everything that I just explained to you. So I want you to download the ebook so that you can start working through those pages and start to think about how you can apply it. Now, there's one thing to start to apply, but it's just so wonderful when you can reach out, I said, to the author and just say, Viv, am I doing this right? What else do I need to do? And that's what I would encourage you to do. So who wants my help? Does anyone want my help? Would anyone like to play with me in the sandbox? I hope so. This is how you're going to participate with me. We have an application form. So you're going to go to viviennmackinder.com. And when you go there, and you're going to get a link as well in an email tomorrow, you'll go there and you'll be able, I'm just going to put my information there. So you've got it. You're going to go to this link. Thank you, Michelle. Look forward to speaking with you. So the first 20 people that sign up for a coaching call are going to talk to me. I will talk to you personally. Why? I want to know what's on your mind. I want to know what you're challenged with. Why? Because I want to help. Why? I want you in my program if you're the right fit. And if you're not the right fit, I will recommend something else for you, because I only want to work with people who I can help. We spend a year together. It's so much fun. So you become my bestie. And I don't want to work with people who are not committed to the program. I've now been running this program for a while, and I've seen the results, and it's just amazing when you show up and participate. So for the first 20 that fill out this form, you will get to talk to me personally, and I will find out. Also, selfishly, when I talk to you, you can give me ideas for new education, new things I can work on. You actually teach me as well. So I would really encourage you to go to this form on the website. It's viviennemackinder.com and book the call. So this is what you're going to get from the call, which is really important. An opportunity to share your experience within your career, clarity on your short and long-term goals, a chance to share any challenges you're facing in your career. We can help you discover any roadblocks preventing you from achieving your goals. Together, we can create a plan and help you reach that goal, which is very, very important. So the other thing, too, is that if we're the right fit, I will recommend either this program or recommend something else for you. As I said, I'm not going to bring people into the program that are not the right fit, because I want transformation. I can't take everybody. There is a limitation as to how many people that we can take. So first come, first serve. That's what they say, right? And do I look tough? Show up, because I'm going to be there waiting for you. If you book a call, show up, because you know what it's like to actually have a client no show. It's not fun, is it? So if you want to work with me and seriously let me help you, then please book the call and please show up, because it's really horrible being stood up. You know what's so funny, Colette? Someone didn't turn up for one of the calls. They didn't know it was going to be me, right? So I called them. She had no idea who I was. It was hysterical. And she said, "Oh, I can't talk to you right now." I said, "Well, you booked a call with me, right?" She said, "Well, who are you?" And I went, "My name's Vivienne." She went, "Oh, yeah, you do that hair stuff." I went, "Yeah, I do that hair stuff." And she said, "Well, I can't talk to you right now. I'm in the supermarket." I laughed so hard. I thought, oh my God, I have to tell Trevor Sorby what just happened. If Vidal Sassoon had been alive, I would have been able to call him and say, "Vidal, do you know what just happened?" He went, "Clearly they're not your client, right?"
Yeah, not a good fit.
So the classes take place. Our next class is on a Tuesday morning from 10 till 12. And the next class is the 17th of January. And that's the one that goes live. If you want to go at your own pace and not join the lives and just join us for mentoring sessions, that you can start at any time and you can work at your own pace. So you have that as a choice. But more of these things we can answer when we actually meet you. So I just want to say thank you, Colette, for being with me today. I appreciate it. And I thank you for your hard work. And it's just been wonderful to see your beautiful talent flourish and to see you thrive. And I have great expectations of what you're going to do and the next chapter of building and expanding your business and being the it girl and enjoying all that you are, because you have so much joy and beauty to share with the world, and you're a blessing. So I just say thank you to you.
Thank you, Viv. It's such a pleasure. Thank you so much for asking me to be a guest today. This was absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
Good. Well, thank you. So guys, have a beautiful evening. You know where to reach me. And as I said, if you're the first 20, then you get to talk to me. So just make sure you're not in the supermarket. Lots of love to you all, and bye for now.